What's going on, everyone? Gilman with Wellthy Stocks back with another video today, taking a look at Nano Dimension, ticker symbol NNDM. It's a stock that I've been watching for a little bit now and have started to build a position in it, so I thought I'd make a video to share with you guys kind of my thoughts on the company. We'll take a look at the charts, get some levels of support and resistance put on there, and whether or not this would be a good time to buy Nano Dimension. So real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to hit the like button down below, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and comment down below if you hold NNDM or if you are looking to get into NNDM, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there in the comment section. So let me hit record and we will get right into it. So we ended the week a little bit red with NNDM. We'll take a look at, why that happened just a little bit. We'll take a look at, what we see in the stock coming up. So let me zoom out just a little bit, right, and go to a 3-month chart for us. And as we could see, right, pretty much from in November and even a little bit before, I guess, right, it had a little bit of a spike up to 6, but then came right back down to the 2s. And since November, we went from the 2s all the way up to 18s, and now we're starting to fall again. So let's take a look at, why or how it's grown. We'll talk about why it's falling, and there's one other thing that I want to share with you guys. So let's do that first, and then we'll get into kind of the charting aspect of it, right? So first things first, Nano Dimension is a relatively new company, right? So they need a lot of cash. And as we've seen with a lot of companies nowadays, the way they're doing that, especially with the amount of interest that is driving their stock prices up, is they do what's called a share offering. So they raise money by offering additional share. What that does is, typically they have to, if an institution is buying millions of shares, right, they're going to get it for lower than the ongoing price that they could buy it at the market at, right? So for example, early in January, right, there was an offering of 35 million shares at a price of $9.50 a share, which at that time Nano Dimension was trading in $11.43. So that's almost a $2 discount given on 35 million shares. So whoever, helped with the offering essentially can turn right around and sell them. Typically, although there is a hold up period in some of these cases, you can't sell for X amount of time, right? But that's kind of dependent on the terms and conditions that they agreed to. But I just want to kind of point to you that could happen. So why am I bringing that up? Well, actually, I realized I haven't covered Nano Dimension before. So they're a 3D printing technology for electronics. That's what they do, and they're planning to use the net proceeds from the offering for working capital and other general corporate purposes. That's not as good as, someone taking the money to put into research and development. But that being said, with the COVID-19 pandemic, Nano Dimension has been hit really hard. They were having some increased revenues, but obviously saw a little bit of a setback with this. So that, is something to be mindful of moving forward. What we want to talk about, and this is actually what I was talking about, revenue in the first 3 quarters declined by 72% from the same period in 2019. Operating losses are widening. So that's a little bit worrisome, but they're blaming it on the coronavirus pandemic, and investors are kind of agreeing with that. Hence, we see the stock price going up. Now, the one thing, though, that I want to kind of warn you guys about Nano Dimension is it's notoriously doing stock offerings. Notoriously, right? We're talking, and before someone says, I own position in Nano Dimension, so I'm not just telling you not to buy Nano Dimension. I'm telling you what I'm looking at, just so you're aware of the same things. If we go down here, so this is what, January 14th, it looks like they offered 35 million shares at $9.50, which pushed it down by 11%. As we saw, right, we closed in the 1374s, if you see top right of my screen. So 1143, which is what we were in January 14th, was still, we're higher than that today. But if we go down here, right, it talks about the other offerings that they had. We're talking $7.50 in December, where they raised $250 million. This is the end of December, right? They had another one where they raised $180 million in early December at $6. They had, similar deals throughout October and November, right? So they ended the third quarter with $45 million in cash. But you know, they kept doing this, I'm assuming, to kind of stay afloat and keep pushing forward. That's one of the reasons why. And then the reason I want to show you guys this is because this is a Form 6K that they have to file, and there is a meeting happening on Monday, February 15th. It's a general, so they have to file these right with the SEC to have these meetings for proxy shareholders and whatnot. But there could be this is where they're probably going to take a vote, and although we don't know for sure what it's going to be at, they could be coming with another offering, right? So if you take a look, right, they had 2 in December, they've already had 1 in January, maybe we see 1 in February. That's something that I wanted to warn you guys out. Now getting back to the stock, what do we think about Nano Dimension? I have personally started to dollar cost average in to Nano Dimension, as well as holding a long-term leap, which means I'm expecting the stock price to go up in the long term. The reason I'm dollar cost averaging in instead of just going all in with everything is, like I said, right? I think that Nano Dimension still is relatively kind of uncertain. There's a lot of uncertainty, right? Which there is in the stock market in general, but especially with Nano Dimension, look, if they come out tomorrow and say we're doing another offering, stock falls 11%, right? So I don't want to be all in and kind of be there for the bumpy ride. I want to slowly build my position. If it goes up, great. The shares I already have are going up, and I'm totally cool with that. If it goes down, I get to pick up shares at a lower price. So that's why I like dollar cost averaging in. Now let's chart out some levels of support and resistance for us here and see where the stock could be headed next. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my horizontal line going here, and we are going to draw a support right here, which is kind of the low point we've seen for the past 2 days. That's coming here in the 1340s. The next level that we have is right here, which I think is going to be our resistance. And the reason for that is if you take a look at this hourly chart, let me stay in drawing mode, there we go, is if you take a look right at the, why is it not drawing? There we go. So at the beginning of each day, where we've pushed up towards that line, then gotten rejected, same thing on Friday. And then the next line I want to draw is kind of this point right here. Although it's not a perfect point, I think that general area is going to be a little bit of resistance, and then definitely, this all-time high that we set, you know, actually maybe not all-time high, because I think this company was, doing something else back then. So not all-time high, but recent all-time high, I guess, would be the right way to put it. And so that's why I'm kind of drawing these, right? Again, if you see on Friday, we hit up against that level. Thursday, we were pretty close to that level. Wednesday we hit up against that level, and then before I believe that would be Tuesday, we hit up against the bottom. So going back to the hourly chart, what do we have levels of support wise, right? We've got this right here, right, as a good level of support, and then I think we've got some good support down here as well if you take a look at the bottom candles on all of those levels as well. And then scrolling out for beyond, a little bit beyond that, I think that this would kind of be our next level around there, right? So I know I just drew a lot of lines. What do those mean? Well, let me kind of share with you guys. So if you follow my videos, we like to draw these out on our charts, and these aren't necessarily perfect, but what we're looking at is where did the stock bounce last time, which means where did buyers kind of step in, take the stock price up. That's what we call support. Resistance is where we're not able to break through a point, which means at that point, you know, people are maybe the selling is happening a little bit more higher than the buying is, so we see a little bit of a sell-off. So what do we have coming up for Nano Dimension? Well, if it pushes up, right, we are watching the $15.16 level first. Then we are watching, why are there two lines over there? Let me get rid of one of them for us. How do you do this? Sorry, I'm having a lot of technical troubles today, guys. Oh, it's because I stayed in drawing mode. Duh. Okay, anyway, sorry about that. I'll fix this later. But first level of resistance we have coming up is in the $15.16. Then we've got this low 16s level of support, $16.19. This is the line that I was trying to draw. based on this kind of right there, where we couldn't break it, and then the day before it was acting as a little bit of a support for these hourly candles, and that kind of sets us up for all-time high in the 18s, right? So if we start to push up, I'm watching the 15, 16 level, I'm watching the low 16s level, and then I'm watching this 18 level if we can break through the first two. Now, if we do see a little bit of weakness in the market, like we have the past 2 days, or past 2 or 3 days with everything going on in the GameStop and AMC world, with, you know, shorts maybe having to cover just a little bit. The downside, we've got a little bit of support here in the 1340s. That being said, right, that's only like 30 cents away. So we've got more support down here in the 1241s, and then if we keep falling, the 1170s. One thing that I do want to share with you guys, and for this I'm going to go to the daily chart because it's what I do, is let me put the EMAs on for us. And what we see is, right, we broke below the 8 EMA. And let me get rid of the drawings here for just a second, right? So this last level of support we have is also the 21 EMA. That's what I want you guys to remember. If we hide all drawings for just a sec, what we see is, right, we are right below that 8 EMA. So the number is going to be right there. The 8 EMA is at 1379. And we closed right below that. We closed at 1374. So that's something to keep in mind, is if we don't capture that 8 EMA, right, meaning we open it below it and we either get rejected from it or have trouble getting above it and staying above that level, we do have run room all the way down to the 21 EMA, which currently comes in at $11.84, right? So if we can't capture 1379, we've got run room down to the 11.84s. If we scroll back here, right, since I guess the beginning of January, since January 7th, right, we've been above this blue line we see at the top, this 8 EMA. When we dip below it, right, in like the 4th and the 5th and the 6th, when we were below it here, right, we dipped to the 21 EMA, which at that point, the 8 EMA was 840s and the 21 EMA was 770s, right? So it was only like a 70-cent difference. So it was a lot less steep. And if we go back here, right, when we dip below the 8, we kind of went closer to the 21. And then here, when we went below, we came to the 21. So that's the reason why, right? I'm looking at these 3 or 4 times that happened, and I'm saying, hey, look, if we keep going down, yes, we have the supports that I shared, but we've also got a little bit of run room down to the 21 EMA and the 1184s. So that's something to keep in mind for short term, and then for a little bit longer term, the next 2 to 3 weeks, right? With that shareholder meeting that I shared with you guys, we could get some news around, hey, do we see another share offering? And if so, what is that priced at? Which is going to affect the stock for a little bit. I mean, recently, as you could see, right, anytime we've had an offering, and the dip has been bought very nicely. So we could definitely see that happening. But, you know, I want to give you guys the information to be able to make that decision yourself. So that's all I had for you guys. Again, I'm dollar cost averaging in. I continue to hold my leap expiring. I think it's in December of 2021 or January 2022. So I do think that this company is going to do well in the long term, and then short term, I'm expecting a little bit of turbulence as they get some of these share offerings figured out and hopefully start kind of generating revenue again, to be able to, you know, not have a couple of share offerings every month. So that's all I had for you guys. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button down below and subscribe to my channel. Comment down below what your thoughts with NNDM are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. Let's remember to be a bit better every single day, and until next time.